Good evening, everyone. Happy Wednesday. We're here for another edition of Workshop Wednesdays, and we have a treat in store for you. But before we go forward, I just want to welcome everyone, and so glad those of you who are joining us and who can actually join us live. We look forward to your comments and your questions. I will do my best to field those questions so that we can have a conversation. We like to have it conversational. So just enjoy yourselves. Another thing I just want to remind you that we are really getting very close to launching our app. So if you would just respond, look for the post Stephanie's posting. We're getting really close. We want you to check it out. We want you to encourage your friends to check it out. The app is also, I just want to tell you that it's not only for vendors or for business owners. Of course, what we're trying to do is have our discussions and our interactions move it to the app. The app is going to be a safe place just for us. We're not going to have some of the limitations that other platforms have, and it's just good. It's our own, by us, for women, by women, and let's make history. And so now I'm going to turn over to Jyoti, who is not only a fabulous Sestra, but she's also part of our leadership core, our pride. And she's my personal trainer. We just got it started, and she just has so much to share. I love her approach to fitness. And so without further ado, she's going to present to us how to lose 10 pounds without the fad diets. I may be paraphrasing, but Jyoti, I'm going to turn it over to you so you could just tell us a little bit more about yourself and take it over.
Sure. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Thank you for joining us today. I do have a presentation that I'll be showing you today. So, Annette, if you wouldn't mind making me the co-host so I can share my screen.
You already
are. I'll
are.
Introduce myself. I am. Okay. All right. Let me get my screen share going.
We're good. But you're on mute. You're on mute. You're muted. Let me see if I can do something to help you out here.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Take it away.
All right. Okay. So thank you. Sorry about that. So today we're going to be talking about how to lose your first 10 pounds without fad diets. So let me just introduce myself a little bit, just so you know who I am before I start dropping all these nuggets of information. So I am a certified personal trainer. I have been in this business for over 12 years. I'm also a certified nutrition coach. I am the founder and owner of Fit for Life with Jyoti, and I work with women to get them healthy and fit. I'm also the team lead for SestraNow's exercise team, and I am 46, a wife, and mom to 2 teen daughters and a puppy. And the reason why I mentioned my 2 teen daughters is because they are the driving force for me for what I do and the way I do it. So let me tell you a little bit about that. I have 2 daughters, 2 teen daughters looking up to me, and I want to make sure that what I am doing is being a good role model for them, because they're watching me, how I eat, how I exercise, how I live my life. They are watching and they're going to learn from me. So that's why it's so important for me to not do fad diets. I have done them in the past. I'll tell you about that. But when I realized that they're watching me, I stopped doing that. And I said, I need to find a healthy way to be healthy and fit and strong and be a good role model for them. So they are the inspiration behind my philosophy on how to lose weight and stay healthy. So my mission, as I mentioned, is to get women exercising and eating well so that they can feel healthy, strong, energized, and confident in a good, healthy way. And there's a picture of me here. You can see in 2019, I had put on some weight. And then in 2022, I ended up, eating healthier, moving more, exercising, and I was able to lose that weight. What I don't show you here is from before, where I was slimmer before 2019, and I had done the keto diet. Before that, I had done the paleo diet. And every time I had done those, I would end up putting weight back on again. And I was just tired of that yo-yo diet. And then, of course, my daughters seeing me doing these things where I was being so restrictive and it was not healthy. And they were like, oh, I can't eat this piece of bread, as a 6-year-old. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't be that type of person, that type of role model for them. So ever since 2019, I lost the weight in a healthy way and I've kept it off. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. So let me move to the next slide here. So today, for losing the first 10 pounds, there's 3 pillars of sustainable weight loss that I'm going to be covering. The first one is a calorie deficit, and you're probably hearing calorie deficit a lot on social media nowadays. So I'll talk about what that is and how we can stay in a calorie deficit. Number 2 is strength training. Why is that important for us? Why is muscle gain important for us? And then the third one is the habits or the behaviors that we have in our life that we want to make sure is supporting healthy lifestyle. Right, so let's dive into calorie deficit first. So what is a calorie deficit? First, we need to understand that there is an energy balance in our bodies. Our bodies require energy to function, and the way we get that energy is by consuming food and drinks. So that the calories from the food and drinks gives us the energy, and then our body uses that energy to do different things, such as just doing our basic life functions, like our heart beating, our breathing, our digestion happening. That all uses energy. We also use the calories or the energy for non-exercise activity. So this is all movement that is not your exercise. And then we use calories, energy for exercise. And we also use energy to digest food. Okay, so those are all the different ways that we're using energy. Now, if we want to lose weight, we need to have a negative energy balance. That means the energy that's coming into our body from food is less than the energy that we are burning. Now, if we are burning more than what we're consuming, then we're going to start tapping into the fat that's stored in our body, and that's going to help us lose fat or lose weight eventually, right? So that is a calorie deficit. Now, how do we eat in a calorie deficit? So first, we need to understand what is our maintenance calories. So that is the number of calories that we need to eat so that we do not gain weight or lose weight. We're kind of at an equilibrium. So once we know what that is, so let's say for me, that's 2,000 calories a day I need to eat to maintain my weight. Now, if I'm looking to lose weight, I need to go into a little bit of a deficit. So I'll reduce maybe 300 calories, not a lot. So 2,000 minus 300, and I'll give myself a target of 1,700 calories a day. Now, with that deficit, I'm going to lose weight over time because I am consuming less energy than I am burning. Okay, so how do we hit that calorie deficit target? First thing is to weigh and measure our food. This is the most accurate way. However, it is also the most time consuming way. So for most people, it's not feasible or it's not doable. So there are other ways that we can do this that are a lot easier to manage on a day-to-day basis. One is hand portioning. So we can eat like palm-sized portion of protein with each meal, fist-sized portion of veggies with each meal, cupped hand of carbs, and a thumb size of fats. Yeah, that sounds a little confusing. So my favorite way, my recommended way is this balanced plate method. And you can see here, I have this illustration of a plate, and half of that plate is veggies, quarter of that plate is carbs, and a quarter of that plate is protein. So if you have a small plate, like one of the salad plates is great for you to eat your meal on, and you can separate it into these three portions, and this is going to make sure that you're getting nice and full with the veggies. There's a lot of fiber and a lot of volume there. You're getting your nutrients from those veggies. The protein, you're going to get enough so that it helps support your muscle. It helps you to burn some more calories when we're digesting. And then we have those carbs for energy. And you'll notice that I am not removing carbs. A lot of people kind of tend to remove carbs. Keto is very popular nowadays, and it's totally not necessary to restrict yourself. You can see I have an actual picture of my dinner plate where I have some, half a plate of veggies. I have two samosas. I'm Indian. I do love Indian food. And then there's also some tilapia that's there for protein. Now, we can always replace the samosas with another carb, like rice or beans or lentils or potatoes or even French fries. We can have these foods. We just want to make sure that we're balancing that plate out so that it's not too carb heavy. But we are focusing on lots of veggies and protein. So that's my recommended method for you to start getting into a calorie deficit initially. Any questions? I'm not sure if we can have questions right now, Annette, or if I
Yes,
should just keep going.
yeah, you can keep going. I'll let you know. Is it okay for me would you like to get questions as you go?
Yeah, absolutely. Please feel free to ask questions. You can type them in the comments, and Annette can share them with me. If you see anything as I'm presenting it, I'm happy to stop and share some more information with you.
Okay.
So I'm going to be moving on to the second pillar now. So we talked about nutrition. Let's talk about strength training. Why is strength training so important in losing those first 10 pounds? Well, first of all, let's talk about the benefits of strength training. Strength training increases our muscle mass. And the great thing about muscle is that it requires energy to maintain and to grow. So that means those calories that we're eating, it's going to use those calories to grow itself and to maintain, which means it's burning calories. So it's going to help you stay in that calorie deficit. Now, another thing you may not be aware of is that as we age, especially after the age of 30, we start losing 3 to 5% of muscle mass per decade. Now, this is huge. If you are a woman who is over 30, especially over 40 and 50, you might have noticed that you're putting on weight a little bit faster. And the reason for that is because you are starting to lose muscle mass. And as I mentioned, muscle, it requires energy to maintain itself. So if you have less muscle as you're getting older, your calorie burn is going to go down too, which means you're going to put on weight. This is why it's so important for us ladies, as we are going through, like especially perimenopause, menopause, it's really important to increase muscle mass by incorporating strength training.
I'm sorry,
Um,
Jyoti, there's a question,
yes,
if you can take it now.
yes.
This is from Norma Stacy Roper Webster. She says, after this becomes a habit, does it become intuitive and thus counting calories is not necessary?
Yes, so it can become intuitive, especially the plate method. If you're following that, if you find that at some point you are not losing weight, then you may need to do calorie counting for a short while just to make sure that you are in a calorie deficit. Oftentimes, if you're using a large plate, for example, instead of a small plate, you might be eating too many calories, even though you're still doing half a plate of veggies and a quarter plate of carbs and protein. So if you find that you're not losing weight following this, then I would say to count calories, but you don't need to do it forever. Do it for a short while, just so you get to kind of recalibrate and see how much you actually need to eat. and then you can start eyeballing and eating intuitively again. So I personally don't weigh and measure my food right now, but I have done it in the past. And if I have some goals of fat loss, I do it for a few days just to get back on track. I hope that answered your question. That was a great question, by the way, Norma. Thank you. Any other questions, Annette, before I go on?
Nope, that's okay. I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you. All right, so another benefit of strength training, and this is again for us ladies that are over 40 and 50, we start losing bone density as we get older as well. So our bones are getting more brittle. So as we are strength training, it's putting more force on our bones and it's getting them stronger and denser. So it's really important to have that, because as we get older, if we fall, you've probably heard of seniors kind of falling and breaking bones. And that just, one, it makes them lose their independence. Two, you can become bedridden. And three, oftentimes when that happens, the health starts going downhill really quickly. So we want to make sure we have those strong bones and strong muscles. Now, in addition to all that, strength training also keeps you strong, capable, functional, and independent. These are all things that we want, especially as we age. We want to be able to take care of ourselves for as long as possible. So those are all the physical benefits, but there's also mental, emotional benefits as well. You'll feel more calm, you'll feel more energized and confident. So those are all the benefits of strength training, but let's talk about how you can incorporate this in losing those first 10 pounds. So weight loss comes from two things. You can either lose fat or you can lose muscle. Now, as I mentioned, it's so important for us to hold on to our muscle or to grow our muscle. So we certainly don't want to lose muscle when we're losing weight. What we want to focus on is losing fat. So we want fat loss versus just weight loss. So oftentimes when people think about losing weight or losing fat, they think cardio, right? That's the first thing that comes to our mind usually. And the thing about cardio training is that, yes, it has a lot of benefits to it. And I do incorporate it into my programs as well as my clients' programs, because it's great for cardio health, for endurance, for respiratory health. It's great for those things, and we absolutely should include it. But in regards to muscle mass, with cardio training, you are losing fat and you're losing muscle. So we're burning that muscle. So this is going to result in a smaller body, yes, but also not a toned body. So you might see yourself getting smaller, but our muscles will be a little flabby, a little looser. So I do not recommend using cardio training for you to get a toned body. Instead, we want to focus on the strength training where you lose fat and we put on muscle. This is going to result in a nice lean body, and you're going to have a nice toned and shaped body as well. So you'll have a nice shape to yourself. So that's why we want to focus on strength training. Now, in terms of a good strength training program, we want to make sure that you are following a strength training program that is at least 4 weeks long. And the reason for that is we want to train these muscles over a period of time where we get to increase the load that we are putting on those muscles. We get to make these muscles work harder week by week so that they can grow and get stronger. If you're doing random workouts, you're not going to get that same benefit of muscle mass growth. So make sure you are following a program that is a minimum of 4 weeks long. Within that 4 weeks, you want to make sure you're including exercises that are compound movements. Compound movements are any exercises that are using like multiple joints or multiple muscles in each exercise. So this includes, if you're familiar with some exercises, you might have heard of some of these, like deadlifts, where we're lifting heavy things off the floor, back squats or squats, bench press, chest press, shoulder presses, pushing things overhead. These are all major functional movements that we use in everyday life, and they use multiple muscles so that you'll be able to put on more muscle mass and also increase the calorie burn, right? So definitely a plus there. In terms of how much to do of these exercises, I like to say 3 to 4 sets of each exercise and 5 to 12 repetitions, so that you really give yourself enough work to, one, get those muscles tired and to help them grow. And then I mentioned progressive overload. Progressive overload is when we are increasing the challenge that we are putting the muscle under week by week. So as I mentioned, increasing weights, we can do that. You can increase the number of reps that you're doing to make it more challenging, or you can change the speed that you're doing certain exercises to make it challenging week by week. So those are all different ways that you can include strength training, a good strength training program, into your plan to lose your first 10 pounds. Any questions regarding strength training or exercise before I move on to the third pillar?
As one of your clients,
yes,
I want to say that what I noticed because I'm going through the program now, I think I'm on my 3rd month. Why don't I give you a free promotion? 22 pounds down, okay. Feeling good about myself. Feeling fabulous, and the mental is stronger. I'm just looking forward to where I'm going to be in the next 3 months. And I love how you push us to not do fad diets, and you're on us to get in those workouts, whatever it is we say we're going to do it. And what I noticed that I'm challenged by a little bit, but you keep stressing the importance of, is my question is balance. So not only the strength, I noticed that the challenge for me in some of the exercises, because, I'm a strong woman, so I push them. I do those weights, right? I'm in there. Yes. Real for real. But where my challenges is the balancing. So as we get older, maybe you can stress the importance of those, that all of the exercises that you give us teach us how to be balanced, maybe like that yoga thing. So maybe talk a little bit about that. I'm going to have to jump off, you guys, but please.
Thank you, Stephanie.
And there's also another question that I missed. I don't know if you want me to give it to you now.
Yeah, go for it.
It says by Carol, she says, at what age should a woman do a bone density test?
As I mentioned, I'm 46 and I have not been asked to do a bone density test yet. For my mom, she did get a bone density test done after she hit menopause. So I would say probably like 50 or later, and your healthcare provider will let you know. It's not one of those tests that they say at this age you should do, I believe. But I think it is more related to menopause. We start seeing that decline as you get there. Now, that age varies women by women. Some women hit menopause in their 40s, some are in their 50s. So I would have a discussion with either your OBGYN or your healthcare provider to find out if they recommend you take the bone density test. That was a very good question. Thank you, Carol. Anything else, Annette, before we?
Well, there was the question do we remember, did you answer the question that Stephanie asked you? I forgot. I forgot
about balancing. She was talking about balancing, I think, balancing things out. So I'll cover that in a little bit with right after the habits.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So the third pillar, now this is habits. This covers a lot. So habits are also behaviors that we are doing, right? Things that we're so used to doing that's incorporated into our life. It could be things like, I have the habit, and this was true for me, I have the habit of having to snack when I watch TV. I grew up eating snacks as a kid watching TV. So even as an adult, anytime I sat down to eat, to watch TV, whether I was hungry or not, I would have to eat something. And it was always chips because that's what I ate growing up. So we have these habits. Some are good, some are not so great, right? So we want to make sure that we're incorporating habits that are helping us and supporting our goal as we move forward. So habits become a part of our lifestyle, and we want to make sure that they are a long-term change, not just a temporary change, right? So when we think about fat diets, we do change some of our habits. We start restricting certain foods, or like if you're doing like intermittent fasting, or restricting the time that we eat. So we're creating new habits. But the way I like to think about it is, I'm doing this right now, but can I see myself doing this 5 years from now? Can I continue doing it 5 years from now? Will I continue doing this 10 years from now? If the answer is no, then don't do it. That's not the right thing for you. You need to find a better way. So, however you're eating, can I do this? Can I see myself eating this way 5 years from now? If the answer is yes, then this is the right way for you. Okay, so that's a really good question to keep in mind.
We
So
do
let's-
have several questions. There's
Oh,
a little
yes.
bit of a delay with the live and what and where we are in this.
Yeah, no worries.
So here, one question is, what exercise do you recommend for sciatica? And then there
Oh.
are two other questions. So if you want to take that one first, and then I'll give you the other
Yeah,
two.
I'll take that one first. So for sciatica, sciatica is when a nerve is getting compressed and it's causing pain that travels down into your buttocks and into your leg. And I do experience sciatic nerve pain. There are not necessarily exercises, but there's stretches that you can do to alleviate some of that. So there is a sciatic nerve floss, which is really great. I can't demonstrate it for you right now, but if the question is in the Facebook comments, I can go back to whoever posted that question, and I can share some videos of stretches that you can do to help out. One thing that you need to kind of be aware of is what is causing this, right? Could it be your chair, or how you're sitting, or how you're sleeping? See if something has changed that has inflamed that for you, and then you may need to make some adjustments just to help it not get that pain back. And then of course the stretching will help you to just feel better in the long term. So I will look under the comments and get back to whoever asked that question with some links of videos to help you.
Great. The next question is, when you say this is kind of going back from what you're saying, because these are real-time questions, but it says, when
Okay.
you say for a 4-week plan, does that mean the same workout rotated and intensified?
Yes. So a 4-week program. So for example, like if someone is doing 3 days a week, right? 3 days of strength training a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, then every Monday for 4 weeks, minimum of 4 weeks, every Monday they'll be doing the same workout. Every Wednesday they'll be repeating that same Wednesday workout. And every Friday they'll repeat that same Friday workout for a minimum of 4 weeks. And the reason why, let's say on Monday you're doing back squats and you lifted 25 pounds. So now next Monday you get to do back squats again. And this time you can try to go a little bit heavier and maybe do 30 pounds. And then the following Monday, the third Monday, you get to go heavier, 35 pounds. And then the last Monday, I might have you deload, which means take a little bit of a break before you start going heavy again the following week, and you'll start a new program. So the reason why is, as I mentioned, this is going to allow you to increase the weight. It's going to let you master that exercise too, instead of kind of jumping from one exercise to another. You get to learn how to do it really well, and you get to push yourself with additional weight week by week. So yes, it would repeat for 4 weeks.
Jyoti, there's a question that I missed from before. It says, what if you plateau? You were losing weight and then no more. What is the best way to reset?
Okay, that's a great question. So most people will hit a plateau. Now, if you're a newbie and you just started, the great news is you're going to see some results quickly. But eventually your body's going to be like, okay, I'm getting used to this, right? Our bodies are amazing at adapting, and you will hit a plateau. So if you are in a calorie deficit and you've hit a plateau, you need to take a break. We call this a reverse diet, where if you're in a calorie deficit, so the example I gave before, like if you're eating at if your maintenance is at 2000, but you were in a calorie deficit at 1700 and you were losing weight, but now you've stopped, then you'll want to increase your calories back up again slowly. So maybe add another 100, another 200 calories, kind of getting you back to that 2000, and then stay there for like 2 weeks or maybe even a little bit longer, 2 to 4 weeks. And then you can go back into a deficit. So this will give your body that break, and then it'll start kind of revving up again. So definitely a reverse diet or a calorie deficit break is required when you have a plateau. Now, one thing I do want to mention is sometimes we hit a plateau because we think we're doing everything the way we're supposed to. We think we're in a calorie deficit, but we may not be. So that is something else to be just cognizant about, right? Are you truly in a calorie deficit? So if you're measuring and weighing your food, you'll know for sure. But most often when people do hit a plateau, it's because they're not in a calorie deficit anymore, and they're estimating that they're eating less than they actually are. So that's something to kind of be aware of. So the first thing I would do before you do that diet break or reverse diet that I mentioned before, I would just go look back and be really honest with yourself. Am I truly in a calorie deficit? May require measuring and weighing your food for a while. Am I moving as much as I should be? Am I doing all my exercises? If you are doing all that and you're consistent and you are in a calorie deficit, then it's time to take a diet break. I hope that answers that.
Yeah, so I just want to share a few of the comments. Here, Carol says that she cannot give up rice, so she adds about 2 tablespoons so she doesn't stress over not having it. And I just asked her the question, like, is that cooked or uncooked? And she said cooked. So that's a comment there.
Yeah.
And she also says, I love potato chips, so I get a small bag and eat 4 chips to satisfy my cravings. The bag lasts more than a week. That I'm like, wow. I mean, that's self-discipline. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing Tyra Banks. She said that that's what she does. Like she'll take a little piece of bacon or a little piece of something, a little piece of Snickers, and she just has like little tastes of things. So I don't know that I could sustain that, but it's working for Carol. She looks great. Let's see. Another comment is usually during this is Princess, usually during menopause, or if you have been taking certain medications, and doctors will ask you to take it based on your blood work.
Oh, I think she's referring to the bone density test.
And then the last comment I see here is saying, so true. That's why I'm staying away from fat. I guess it's in response to what you were saying about staying away from, yeah, when you made the comment about if you can't see yourself doing this for 5 years, then maybe you shouldn't do it. She says, so true. That's why I'm staying away from fad diets or buying diet foods. Can't maintain buy diet foods for years.
Yes, exactly. And the comment about like eating some of those foods that you do enjoy, like if you enjoy eating rice, you don't have to remove it. You can have like the 2 tablespoons or whatever. Like, I mean, you have a quarter plate worth of carbs that you can have, right? So you can choose to have all rice if you prefer it, and you can have it with every meal if that's what you like. We just don't want to overdo it, right? So definitely don't restrict yourself and remove the things that you love, because life is about enjoying. Food is not just food, right? Like we go out to eat to enjoy time with our families, to celebrate with friends. So we don't want to stay away from events because we can't eat certain foods, right? So go ahead and eat it. Like sometimes there might just be like a whole rice plate and that's all there is, and you don't have protein. Don't stress about it. Enjoy it. Eat it mindfully, eat it slowly, and eat until you're satisfied. And the next meal, you go right back to your plan. Okay, so we don't need to stay away from things, because when you stay away from things, you restrict yourself, you're just going to want it. You're going to crave it. And then when you do get it, you're going to go overboard with it. And I think we all know about that. We've probably experienced it. So yeah, don't restrict yourself. Enjoy. Just eat in portions and moderation, right?
Yeah, and there was one other comment from Carol. She said, snack on fruit, nuts, and lots of water.
Yes, yes. I'm actually going to be talking about drinking more water too, and in the basic habits that we want to focus on. So, as I mentioned, these habits, they're the behaviors that we need to focus on. So, in terms of weight loss, a lot of times when we set a goal, we say, I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to challenge you. Instead of setting that as your goal, I want you to, because that's an outcome, right? You can't control how fast you're going to lose weight. You can't control where you're going to lose weight from or when you're going to lose it. So instead, I want you to set a goal that is behavior based. So if you want to lose 10 pounds, what are the behaviors or the habits that you need to follow in order to lose 10 pounds? Those are things that are under your control. So for example, here under number 2, the basic habits to focus on, I know if I want to lose 10 pounds, I can control eating protein with every meal. That's going to help me. I can eat more vegetables. I can strength train 3 to 5 times a week, take more steps. I can drink more water. I can sleep better. 7+ hours is amazing to help you recover. And then also manage stress. So these are different ways, different behaviors and habits that you can set as a goal. And then that's going to help you reach the outcome of losing 10 pounds. And it really gives you the power then to make sure that you're doing the things you need to lose the weight. Um, yeah, any questions regarding habits or anything like that before we move on?
I do have a comment, and as we're coming to, we're a little past the time period, but since,
Yeah,
I don't want to limit you too much because it seems like we have a lot of interaction and it's very, we have
I love
some
it.
good participation, but it says,
Yeah.
Winsome Smith says, I've plateaued, but I'm not losing as I used to because I have knee and bone problems. Um, but I'm weight training with my arms and they're pretty toned. Most of my weight is in my stomach, but I can't do sit-ups.
Yeah, so it's wonderful that you're working around your injuries. I love that because, if your lower body is injured or can't do something, absolutely you can work out the upper body. Now, sit-ups are not required to lose fat. You can focus on that calorie deficit. That's what's going to help you lose fat. That's going to be it's going to be the biggest bang for your buck, right? Sit-ups actually don't help in losing fat. It's going to help you develop the muscles there. So for you, I would specifically focus on going into that calorie deficit, especially when you're not able to work out those big leg muscles. That's going to help you a lot in losing the fat from all over. We can't decide that we want to lose it just in our tummy. Your body's going to decide that for you, but definitely calorie deficit would be helpful, I think. Shall I go on, Annette?
Yes, you can go on. Go ahead.
Okay, awesome. So I've talked about what you need to do to lose weight. The question is, I think most of you know these things, right? Like what you need to do. But oftentimes we find that we're just not doing those things. So how do we do it so that we can lose those first 10 pounds? So the first thing is you have to have a plan. You have to make sure that your plan is manageable. Don't take on too much too soon. So I just talked about those habits. For example, I listed off like 10 things. Don't do all 10 things at once. That's going to be impossible. It's too much, right? Instead, pick one. Start slow, get that under control, and then you move on to the next one, right? So we want to create a plan that we can 100% be successful at. So take small bites. Don't take it all on at once, and make sure you're following through with that plan. The second tip is to be consistent. So we want to aim for progress, not perfection. So when we try to do everything perfectly, the moment something goes wrong, we get demotivated and we're like, oh, this is not working. I can't do this. And we quit. Instead, just focus on being 1% better day by day and stay consistent, and you will see results in the long term. And then my third tip is be patient. So a sustainable fix is not a quick fix. Anything that's worth having will take time. Look at your life. If you have a degree, it took you 4 years, maybe more, to get that degree, right? So anything that you've done, it took time, but it's going to be worth it, and you'll have it always. So don't look for those quick fixes. I'm just going to talk about how I can help you with those 3 tips that I gave you. So having a plan, as I mentioned, you should have like a minimum 4-week exercise plan. I do provide customized exercise program based on your goals, your preferences, your abilities, schedule, lifestyle, whether you're working out at the gym or you're working out at home. I provide an exercise program for you to follow, and I also help you to progress and challenge yourself more week by week. And in addition to that, I help you set nutrition goals for yourself so that you can start eating more protein if that's your goal, or eating more vegetables. And I keep you, um, you know, on plan with those things. And I kind of manage that you're not taking on too much at once. I'll help you take those small bites and make sure that you're winning at what you're choosing to do. In terms of being consistent.
Small bites, pun intended.
Yes. The second tip in being consistent, that's one of the biggest things I think, that we all kind of probably get challenged with. And that's why I provide accountability. I provide daily accountability to make sure that you're doing what you say you will do. So if you're saying, I'm going to work out 3 days a week, then I'm watching your program and making sure that you're accomplishing what you said you're going to do. And once you start holding yourself accountable and I'm holding you accountable, you'll start getting integrity in life. And the biggest thing is, having integrity with your word to yourself, because a lot of times we take care of everybody else, but we don't take care of ourselves. So I'm here to help you make sure that you're taking care of yourself too, and hold you accountable to yourself. And then the last thing, being patient. This requires a lot of mindset work. We want to make sure that we're reframing our negative thoughts. Sometimes we feel like we're not doing enough or we're not good enough. I'm going to help you reframe those thoughts, help you have a growth mindset, stay motivated and committed to your goals, even when things get hard, especially when things get hard. We often get in our own way, and I'm going to make sure that you don't get in your way. I'm going to help you, know that you can do this, and you have a guiding hand and someone pulling you through this process who's just, loving you and supporting you in what you're up to. So those are the ways that I can help you. And I just want to show you some quick results. Oh, 2 of my pictures are not showing up here, but we have Stephanie here on the left. Stephanie's been working with me for 3 months. She's had some amazing results. And you can see some of these other ladies, 2 of which are missing for some reason off the slide, but definitely seeing amazing results as you're following this sustainable way of getting there.
Yeah, so okay. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Annette.
No, I just wanted, before you close up, I just wanted to say that someone's making Norma makes a recommendation of some chair workouts that you can work your abs with. And so I think that's in response to Winsome, who was saying she has those injuries. LaShawn says, one day at a time, the journey in becoming healthy is your race and not a rat race.
Yes. And there's definitely ways, as you mentioned, for doing like core strength workouts, right? So if you're not just looking to lose belly fat, absolutely, we need to strengthen our core. And there are amazing exercises that you can do while sitting, right? So this is about getting strong and capable and healthy, not necessarily about losing fat there, right? Calorie deficit will help, but yeah, focusing on having a strong core is definitely important. Thank you for that recommendation. Anything else, Annette?
Nope, that's it. You can wrap up.
Okay, so I just wanted to close off, just letting you know that I am doing online training. And as I mentioned, it provides a customized exercise program, setting and tracking nutrition goals, daily accountability. You get guidance and support from me. I am providing a special discount for Sestras that are in attendance today. The usual price is $300 for a 4-week program. However, if you are attending today, I will be providing you a $50 savings. So that would be $250 for a 4-week program. So if you have any questions, if you're interested, please just get in contact with me. I have my contact info up here on the screen. You can take a screenshot, or I'm on in the Facebook group too, so you can make a comment, and I'm happy to help you out. Thank you so much for joining. If there's any additional questions, I'm happy to stay back and answer. Or if we are in a time crunch, I can answer them in the comments section too.
Yeah. So Winsome does say she does do chair workouts, but that she gets back pains. So so I just want to thank you so much, Jyoti. You're always so informative, and I encourage you, check out Jyoti. She provides such great education. She promotes her business. I want to encourage those of you who are business owners that we want you to promote. There's this reluctance to share your business. This SestraNow is about us promoting each other, supporting each other, learning from each other. So, it's really important that you do that, because that's what the now part of SestraNow is the network of women.
Yes.
And so we're, as a sisterhood, we want to encourage and we want to patronize each other, support each other. And you just thank you so much for being so consistent. You've been with us from the beginning, and you've always been providing such guidance and support. We're going to get back into our 1,000 Women campaign. You've been the head of our exercise regime team, and so we just thank you. And I just want to point out, I was curious to see how would it be to have a personal training remotely, and I'm just so the support and everything that you provide is so it's so beneficial. It's so encouraging. You do this it's a labor of love for you, and so really I want to really appreciate you. And I just begun the journey with you, but I'm looking forward to sticking to it and getting to that place where I am eating the way that I could see myself eating 5 years from now. So thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, Annette. Thank you, everyone.
Sorry, there's one question. Great comments, great presentation. Going to try to work on the portion sizes. And then Norma says, can you sign up and schedule the 4 weeks for a later date? That's a question.
Yes, you can. So please reach out to me and I'll be happy to discuss that. Absolutely.
Yeah,
if you're here. Yes.
And Jyoti, if you would just go through the questions, and I'm sure you can answer any additional questions. So thank you, ladies. Thank you for being patient. We've gone over our 30-minute period, but it was well worth it. Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.